Greetings and welcome to my dear Taurus. This is Ron from Tarot the Twin Sun. Tarot the Twin Sun is a functional division within the order of the Twin Sun. Please take only what you will. We are accessing the second house and the axis of the 2 and 8. And this axis is very particular in that it is the transition from the material realm and the sublimation of the material into the immaterial. Okay, this has to do with the esoteric truths that come through Venus and its relation to Mars. Okay. Now, when these two grahas, these two planets correlate, what is birth exactly is a type of alchemy that can be equated to sublimation. Sublimation is merely the awe and the effect that comes from this transcendental transposition. Okay, it has to do with the movement from earth to water, from the material plane into the metaphysical, okay, the secret, the occult. And you might find, as a Taurus, that you pull in people who are here that are going to change. And the irony, the great sort of bittersweet, is that this is an eventuality that Taurus is fixated on sort of a stability, yet it is instability that comes into their life. It forces them to explore polarities of the infinite, of the truth that we seek in terms of depth. And the interesting thing is that the Taurian capacity is to understand this, at the same time be awestrucken by it, be awestrucken by power, okay? And the dynamics of power are quite strong in this axis, to the point where you are empowered to see them as these agents of transformation in which they lose themselves in another in order to find some sort of truth, some sort of, otherly, higher, super mundane philosophy, if you will. And it can make them extremely dogmatic, it can make them extremely fixed in some sort of way. And you're here to learn a lesson of this transformation. At the same time, they see you as someone who has instilled faith or a purity, is on a path of some sort of dharma that is quite fixed and quite rooted in the auspices of Venus, yet it is moving to mutability. It's moving to the third house, and that's the secret. There's something about that is a great lesson in terms of your own capacity to place faith within yourself, to venture out, to go out into your community, to share with others in terms of this sensuality that you hold dear. Now, let's move into this reading. We're doing a reading for the month of March 2023 for the energy of Taurus. Okay, any placement in Taurus, as well as an activation in the second house, as I've mentioned. Firstly, we'll look into karma. We'll go into an incident of karma in the second spread. The third spread is the great mirror. Let's go ahead and get started now. Okay, so for the month of March, there has to do, it's dealing with essentially leaving one sense of a reality, moving into another. This has to do with a choice, okay? A choice of land, a choice of newness, a choice of place, a choice of a project, and then finding root in there, drawing the line in the sand and calling it yours. In terms of this, it is not yours, it's merely moving to another boundary, okay, moving to another boundary, crossing a boundary, and essentially making it yours. That there's a sense that you can find order, that you can find empowerment by pulling from the past, leaving the past at a place of stasis, by essentially leaving that place in a state of peace or equilibrium within itself. Okay, as you do this, you are endowed with wealth, you are endowed with health and beauty and grace and calmness. Okay. You become in your element as you make this choice. This choice is going to be particular for each one of you. You are moved, and there's something about an agent, someone who's here, who is on the mind, and they have a truth that separates the past, and they have also this vision to put you into the place where you are now. Someone is supporting you. This also could feel like a burden. This person has a realm of experience and it influences your own. This has to do with taking power, manifesting your own sense of power. They have influence in you in terms of this. I'm not saying that they overpower you, but they contribute to some form of grace, some sort of elevation. The threes are very strong. Threes is a very strong number for you currently. And it has influence, it has agency, it has power, primarily power. And this is going to be a very empowering month. The month of March is also a 3. What this is leading to actually is an interesting dynamic. You could be pulled by 2 different forces. This could lead you into a state of deep thinking, deep contemplation, okay? 2 different people may be forcing you into this state of deep contemplation. One is of an intellectual mind, one is more communicative. The other is a great manifester of some sort, someone who seeks the truth primarily, seeks the truth. They have their own, and it has to do with sort of letting go of old ways of possessiveness. I think both have to do with possession. I think you're pulling away here, and essentially coming up with your own sort of slow and steady movement forward, regardless of how much these people influence you in terms of especially experience or experience lost. Okay, let's look deeper into this spread. So it's as if you're choosing between 2 different people, I think. Okay, so there's a possibility to find balance in that in which you do. What you seek out mostly is to elevate the mind so as to balance out different accounts, any kind of accounts of karma or action in the past. These aren't negative accounts, but you are merely trying to be truthful in that in which you do. This is the elevation of Venus. Okay. There also is a possibility that both of these people they symbolize, if they do exist for you, it could be 2 different versions of yourself also, but what I see here is that you would have to balance out the accounts on both accounts and then do things on your own, something like this. You're going to encounter someone who is willing to negotiate with you. You are of a higher status than them, but they're also drawing the line. There's something about them that is trying to get to the 7 of rods, and I think you are on the right path when it comes to the decision that you're doing, which is essentially to hold the pentacle, to hold the golden round into your vision, to envision it, to idealize it, to really philosophize about your own material existence, okay? And to worship that, to make that paramount, to make that paramour, okay? So if you act within self-love in terms of the month of March, there's an ability to manifest a great deal. One has to do with essentially bringing resources into a new land, crossing the threshold, as I've mentioned, choosing one over another, but then ultimately choosing yourself. I know it sounds really, really cliche. Let's see. This is leading to the 5 as well as the 8 of Cups in the reverse. There's something that you return to in terms of a way of doing things, and this is traditional in nature. Perhaps you are observing what it is that you go through your day, what it is that you find reality and find grounding in, and you hold on to that tradition. At the same time, you have found the right path by going the wrong path. By essentially doing what appears to be good in terms of your own sense of perhaps vanity, perhaps self-righteousness or self-doing. In order to do that, you are going to encounter people that will pull from the 5 of rods, giving the 4 of rods, okay? giving you a sense of the platform, of a way to co-create, a way to coexist, to find harmony with others. This is manifesting in its truest form, and I think this month is quite indicative of that. If you have one choice or another to choose, essentially you're going to make a third choice, and this is going to lead you to new dimensions, okay? This has to do especially with the gateway, the divine gateway that can open for some people. Now, let's see. Yeah, I think it's important to be a lesson to it all. There's someone that's greatly influencing you, okay? And this has to do with the King of Swords as well as the Page of Swords. And there's mirrors here. So the interesting thing is that what this is culminating to is perhaps inspiration from one party and then a culmination and influence of another in terms of trying to elevate you, trying to bring you into a sort of pedestal. And I don't know if you want that. It's a possibility. Okay, let's move on. So I'm going to look into the Great Mirror. This Great Mirror is going to be a bit different. The centerpiece will be, the mirror itself will be your representation, the illusion, if you will. And the people on the side will be two different parties. So we'll go ahead and get started now. This is a month of triangles. Triangles and pyramids, seems like, for Taurus especially. 1, 2. Okay. Okay, you're leaning to one more than the other. This other person feels like they cannot act. They're the next step, though. That's the thing. They feel like they cannot act. They meet you halfway with the sword drawn, but it's dragging. They can't act. They seek friendship, I think, or companionship, a partner. They seek inspiration as well, healing from a mother figure. Yeah, and I think it's clear to you that this person may symbolize something new, something fresh, something in terms of almost like a desperation, like really finding an equal, finding clarity in seeing them for who they are by shining the light on them. At the same time, there's something that they need to do that is kind of tragic. They are called to do something quite tragic, pull out, not commit, to be on their own. And they sort of like that. There's something bittersweet about this person, extremely bittersweet. I think you come from a place of really not feeling much, but then on a conscious level, embodying some form of higher intuition, being able to see things for what they are, and to be stable in that. Ultimately, you're gesturing towards the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups comes up again for this month. And what is coming to be is leaving something aside that you've invested in and to try something that is challenging. The other person is calling you back to do something, to reanimate something, to bring something back to life. They have a very strong hold on you in terms of regenerative aspects, okay? They have major arcana judgment, major arcana the hangman, and major arcana death. And this other person has major arcana the sun, with the twin inside of it. So there's something about this person that has a strong dynamic in influencing that in which you go through. I think you've been through enough in terms of a cycle with them. At the same time, they want to heal, they want to reanimate, they want to also bring forward something and raise it up, a version of yourself, a deep, deep suppressed version of yourself, raise it up into some sort of transformation. There's this theme of just bringing out, and like waking up and like getting out of it with them. Yeah, and the connection is quite deep. It leads you to a place of the Five of Cups. There's further mirroring. You're caught in the middle of this. This can go deeper and deeper, but the ultimate thing is that between you and this other person, there's something about them that is tied to the energy of the Four of Cups, not being able to sort of impart something. There's a melancholy about this situation. There also is something about the death and the regeneration of something else here. So you got your hands full in terms of some sort of emotional thing. I think you have more of a chance of communication with this person in terms of truth and the quest for truth, the quest for also civil communication. At the same time, there's a strong emotional pull towards this person. And perhaps this person has like a whiff or some sort of they can sense this sense something about this other party. So this is interesting. This is very triadic in nature. There's something very triangular. And how do you triangulate yourself in this type of situation? It seems to be that you're being called to do something else. Okay. Essentially, that's probably what you're gonna do. You're gonna choose to do that. At the same time, there's this sort of numbing process. Like you've already been through this path. You're searching for a bridge. Okay, and this bridge exists in this person. At the same time, there's something very, very bright on the inside, but it's hidden. And they bring to consciousness a sense of lack or a need to be alone, especially with the Four of Cups showing up in the secret realm here. So it's quite intense. The connection to this person, though, I think you're quite loyal to the effect they have on you. It's major arcana all over the place, including the moon. There's a sun and then there's a moon. These two people eclipse each other in terms of inspiration, in terms of the right path, in terms of also truth. Okay, so they're both going to impart to you some sense of truth or some sort of elevation on the path of truth. So, yeah, it's not easy, considering that there's something that needs to be said or reconstructed, deconstructed in those words. Words fall short to this type of situation. So it's all feeling or it's all body. It's all reanimation of the body and healing of the body. So take care of yourself. There's something about you that needs to conserve your efforts, conserve your energies, okay? Whether or not you choose one or the other, or whether you choose to go alone. It's important that you embody your truth, okay? And that's the best I can do for now. Thank you. Bye-bye.